I've been working on this old boat, this barge. It's quite a long boat for a buddy of mine, a friend of mine, and taking the old motors off. Put them over here. Just piled them up, taking all the electronics and controllers, which most of this was analog, not necessarily digital, running on relays and so forth. And I've installed these newer motors. He's going to put this back into operation. I've run all the electrical gauges, put new gauges and controllers, run all the modules and electrical, and I got a really good start on it. And I'm happy with that. I've done many other projects to put food on the table for my family. I'm grateful for those who give me work, paid me to do this work, and I'm especially grateful to God for the skill and ability to do the work, even technical work that is difficult to do and difficult to understand. And I'm grateful for the years and years of working and producing that brought me to the development of these skills. And I always know that I'll be able to put food on the table for my family and provide for my family because of these skills. But I also have to be honest that I am fighting this motivation or lack of motivation to work and to produce. I keep getting more and more news from court records and individuals who are keeping an eye on what is happening, and this wicked power, the courts and the judges and the lawyers that have mounted this massive attack upon my family and I for speaking out against them truthfully. How they continue. As you know, they drove me from my home. I had to flee Idaho. If I did not flee Idaho, it would have quickly turned into me having to stand in defense of my family to protect my home and the sanctity of and safety of my family in my own home. A judge had ordered the Jim County Sheriff's Department to escort the St. Luke's attorneys, the very ones that have been attacking me and trying to destroy my family. The judge ordered the sheriff to escort them through my home, and he ordered me to not be there, that I could not be in my own home while the St. Luke's attorneys were able to go through my house. And that's hard to understand. That's exactly what happened. Ez Brett Whiting, who was appointed during COVID by Governor Little, authorized St. Luke's employees, St. Luke's attorneys, to go through my home, my children's bedrooms, my children's closets, through their drawers, whatever they want. And I stood against it and just said that, this cannot happen. I cannot allow this to happen. I can't allow my children and my wife to be infringed, their rights to be infringed. It's one thing to do it to me, and they have for many years. I spent many months in solitary confinement after being, stripped down naked and thrown in, solitary, and many times, and I have bore that myself. And I have not used violence or retaliated against that, even though it was completely unjust, and eventually came to light that it was unjust. But I could not let that happen to my family and let them come in and take the peace of my children and my wife in our own home. It's just such a wicked thing that this Judge Whiting did. I mean, just wicked. And that the sheriff would go along with it. I mean, it was obviously an instigation to try to get me to act in violence. And so I had to make a choice whether I was going to stand there at the front door and physically fight off the sheriff's department, which, you know how that would go. That would escalate to the state police and to the FBI and all of that. And so I chose not to do that. I chose peace. I chose to leave. And because of that, I had to flee Idaho. And I did it for peace. And now I'm here, and I am trying to provide and trying to take care of my family under these circumstances, without a home, without the ability to really have a bank account, and to be able to really make money above the table. And so that's where I'm at. And I'm grateful to be able to work, to produce, to provide. But I see now, you know, where St. Luke's is continuing the assault on me and keeping these cases open, even though they should be closed. And from what I understand, they have actually filed more documents in the case where they took my home, which, you know, that case should be over. They took my home, they won. But they now have filed, I guess, to try me for contempt. And from what I understand, they even have a court date set, a trial, not just a court date, a trial. And it makes you wonder, what in the world is, you know, like, this is supposed to be a hospital. There's supposed to be healers. This hospital, I mean, what? You know, they're not doing it for the hospital. That's, I keep trying to point this out, but like, what are the board of directors thinking to allow the hospital to just so vehemently try to destroy a family? It's baffling to me, to see people so vindictive and so motivated to destroy, and yet they're claiming that they are healers. And so this assault, and when they keep taking, they take my home, they take my bank account, they take my wife's bank account, coming after all the business assets that I've been involved in, and after friends, and you know, that ever did business with me, and these type of things. And I see the silence of those around me that are afraid to speak out and afraid to do anything. And what it does is it makes me where I am very unmotivated to, you know, work. And it is, you know, I promised, I titled this video that why this country will fail, why this country will continue to decline. And it's because of these principles of socialism. We have these wicked men and women that are controlling our country. We have allowed them to control it, to get above us, and they will keep taking more and more and more. They already take about a third of our paychecks, everybody's, and we think, oh, it's a good thing that they do that. Somehow they've got us to believe that it's a good thing. They charge us for our properties. They charge us to travel. They charge us to just get in business and then to stay in business. And then they take this money and they use it against us. But what, in the principles of socialism. What socialism is, when the government controls the means of production and distribution, and we've become a socialist country. And what happens is when a thief or people take from you, you become less and less motivated to produce, and which eventually will cause an economic collapse, civil war, or complete oppression. And that's what's happening in this country. We are experiencing the effects of socialism, which socialism, by the way, is a gateway to communism. And there's no communism that's ever been set forth that hasn't gone through the gateway of socialism. So, in fact, it was acknowledged by Marxists, Karl Marx himself, that socialism is the gateway to communism. You have to control the means of production and distribution before you can invoke communism, because people have to get used to it. They have to get used to the regulations, the governing, the taking. They get used to it, and then it goes into communism, which is where everything becomes common, where nothing is owned, no property is owned. It's all become common, or what we would say rightfully is it's owned or controlled by the government, which is really just a small group of people that have taken control, and they call it communism. But the effects of that are demotivation of production and wanting to be free, wanting to invent. Entrepreneurism, it destroys it, and it just motivates you or demotivates you to want to thrive. And I'm experiencing that. Not always, not every day, but I want to build again. I want to produce on a high level. I want to be a high producing person like I was prior. But when I have this threat over me that at any moment or whatever I build will be taken, then it's very demotivating. And that's what's happening to our entire nation, whether you know it or not, whether you acknowledge it or not. That is what's happening. And that's why many of our young people don't even have any desire to work at all. They don't have a desire to produce. And frankly, in many cases, I don't blame them. And so if we are to survive as a country, we have to rid ourselves of this socialism, this taking, because it's all it is comes down to just theft. It's a small group of people, or it's becoming bigger and bigger, group of people that do not want to produce for their living, so they take. And there's all kinds of criminals, thieves. There's street thieves, street criminals, and there's government criminals. And we must, if we are to have any hope for a bright future, we have to stop them from taking from us. That's it. Stop them from taking from us. And I've preached that a lot, and been actually quite unsuccessful at convincing people that we have to stop them from taking from us. But it really comes down to that, because that's why government was established. The purpose of government was a unity of people to stop other people from taking from them. And now we have allowed the very structure and system in which we created to stop others from taking from us. They have now become the primary takers. And that's a difficult thing to overcome, because we have hundreds of thousands, millions of officers of this government that make money and make their living from taking from other people, and they will not side with anybody but the takers. They'll do whatever they're told, even if they're convicted otherwise, even if they're Republican, conservative, independent, or old school Democrat. It doesn't matter. It comes down to their living is received by taking from somebody else, and they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. And there is no other force that's bigger than them. And so we are going to see that this force against the people is going to continue to grow, and it's going to continue to take and take and take, and there is no balance of power. Our founders wanted the militia, the people, to be the balance of power. That's why it said in the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's what that was for. It was so that the people would always maintain a balance of power, so that whenever these government powers become tyrannical and they begin to take too much, that the people can balance that and continue to be free. And we have not. We've subcontracted our militias to our national government, which is not going to protect our rights. So anyway, I just wanted to identify again what is happening to our country and why it will not survive in the current state. We cannot survive under socialism. No social compact, no agreement, no anything has ever survived under the principles of taking from other people and distributing that to those who do not produce, and then highly regulating those who are producing. It does not work. And so we have to stop the taking. And my case here with my family in St. Luke's is just a little teeny example of how socialism demotivates and how it goes about to destroy a highly productive people who had great blessings from God, and all they needed to do is just live righteously, meaning love your neighbor as yourself, love God, and not take from each other. And so, I mean, God bless you. Thank you for listening to me here, and know that my family is okay. We are doing well, in the sense that, we've got a roof over our head and food on the table, and we're still free enough to be able to learn and grow and love each other, and to exercise our faith in God. So thank you.